Hey guys, Creator Cuber here. Before I start the video, I just want to quickly say that this video is part of a language arts assignment where I had to write an essay, a research essay on something, so I chose Speedcubing. And then I also had to do a creative project based on it, so here's the creative project. I decided to upload it because I thought it applied to the channel, plus spent a lot of time on it, and I didn't really have a bunch of time to do any other videos, so I thought I might as well use this one. So if you're a cuber and you've been doing it for a while, then you probably know this stuff already. But if you're not, well then this might be new to you. So yeah, like the video and use code CREATOR for 5% off at thecubewheel.com. There are many aspects to speedcubing. In this video, I will be going over 3 of them. And I will also be giving some basic overviews of a few bonus ones at the end. Basically, with speedcubing, it's all about trying to solve the Rubik's Cube as fast as possible. Now, it's not just for this cube, the standard 3x3x3, it also works for some other cubes, such as Pyraminx, and even Megaminx, which is this puzzle. Now, there are multiple different cubes, but in this video we'll be mainly talking about the main one, 3x3. So, the first topic about speedcubing that is super important, this is probably like the most important part of speedcubing, the methods. Now, there are many different methods for solving the cube, the most popular of which being the CFOP method. It is basically the most widespread used speedcubing method and has been used to get some of the fastest times in the world. Now, how this method works is you start off by building a cross on a side. So, how that would work is you end up with a sort of plus on a color along with it matching with its centers all throughout. After that, in the next step, you have to pair up 2 individual pieces together to form 2 layers. And you just go throughout the entire cube, putting together the first 2 layers until you have them completely solved like that. You follow that by doing an algorithm to solve this top side, which, as you can see, solves that. And all that's left is to do one final algorithm to move all these pieces around to solve the cube, which looks something like that. And that's an overview of the CFOP method. Now, there are other methods you can use, however, CFOP is just the most popular and one of the quickest methods you can use. Now, another decently important part of speedcubing is actually the cube that you use. Now, you might think, well, I mean, it's a Rubik's Cube, how difficult can it get to turn? Or, like, what's the difference between all these different cubes? Well, let me show you. This right here is it's a Rubik's brand, so it's made by the company that created the cube. And let me show you how it turns. It's loud, clacky, and pretty slow, so it's pretty hard to use when you're going at really high speeds. However, there are things called speedcubes, like this one, which are designed for the sole purpose of solving the cube fast. For instance, watch how fast I can do an algorithm on this one, and how fast I can do the same algorithm on this one. That's that on that one, and then if you do it on this one, a lot faster. So yeah, speedcubes are pretty important. Now, there are multiple different kinds of speedcubes. Some of them are like made for just quick turning, and because different people like their cubes to feel differently. Some people prefer their cubes to be a lot slower so they can control it better and it glides smoothly throughout all their turns. However, there are some other people, like me for instance, who prefer their cubes to be really fast, because then they can just turn as fast as possible and try to just go through the solve that way. Now, it all depends on you as a cuber to decide your preference, so there's no like one best cube for everybody. However, some cubes outperform others. Now, there have been many optimizations to these cubes, and let me show you one example. For instance, the mechanism inside allows the cube to do something called corner cutting, which is where when a layer is offset, you're still able to turn it. On an ordinary cube, you would not be able to do that. Watch. If I go over here, can't turn. If I go further back, still can't turn. I can only like turn it when the layers misalign like very little. Like even right here, it's really hard to turn. However, on this cube, I can even turn it beyond 45 degrees, still clicks right into place. So yeah, that's just some of the basics about speedcubes and why they're pretty important. Now, the third aspect of speedcubing, which I find to be really important, but completely optional, is the competitions. Now, obviously these are optional, you don't have to go to them if you don't want to, but it's just a really fun thing. They do cost money, obviously, so some people won't be able to, and there might not be any in your area. But at a competition, basically cubers compete to see who can get the fastest times. However, that's not really what a lot of people go there for, because most of the fastest cubers average under 10 seconds for each solve, and they can solve the cube in like 6, 7, 8 seconds, even less than that. And then there are some people who can't get that low yet and average like 15 seconds. So they know they're not going to win. However, they still go. Why is that? Well, competitions are a really good social environment, as at these competitions, it's just a ton of people, like over hundreds of people, who just have the same hobby as you. They enjoy twisting these plastic toys, and I mean, yeah, you can meet a ton of new people, talk to them about the hobby, just different things overall, and you can make tons of new friends. And yeah, a bunch of my friends are cubers because I met at the competitions. Now, how these competitions work is for the 3x3 event, because they have a ton of events in total. I'm pretty sure there's 17 in total, 17 different ones. So how it works is you basically have a timer, obviously, and somebody else scramble the cube so that you don't see the scramble beforehand. Then what ends up happening is a cube cover, such as this, it would be like a box, it's placed over the cube so you can't see it. Then there's somebody called the judge next to you who asks you when you're ready, and when you're ready, they lift the cube cover. For the 3x3, you then get 15 seconds to inspect the puzzle and plan out your first moves. You can't do any turning during this stage, and you don't have to use the whole 15 seconds. Whenever you think you're ready, or until 15 seconds are done, you put the cube down, put your hands on the timer, and then start your solve. You end up doing 5 solves in total, and how it works is after you finish a solve, you end up writing down your time on a piece of paper, and you both sign for it to make sure that both you and the judge know that it's the time, was the time that was actually there. So after you guys sign for it, you give the cube back to the scrambler so they can scramble it, and you go wait again, and you do that 5 times, and then they get rid of your best time and your worst time to remove any outliers from the equation, so that if you get a really lucky solve, you're not instantly the best in the world. And yeah, it's just a really good method to do this, as it ensures the integrity of every solve, and that's really what the WCA, which holds these competitions, prides themselves on. And yeah, that's pretty much the competition aspect of speedcubing. Now, this last short section is going to be just different optimizations to cubing. Now, there are a ton of them, so I'm just going to go over the few most basic ones. Now, how a lot of people, when first approaching the Rubik's Cube, turn it is like so. They grip the cube with their whole palm and turn it like this, which is not a bad thing, it's just the easiest way to do it. However, cubers came up with optimizations for turning the cube as fast as possible called finger tricks. And how these work is, instead of using your entire hand to rotate, which means you have to re-grip every time you want to turn a face, you hold your hands in a position known as home grip, and then you can do different things to turn the layer. Now that the speed cubes can turn as fast, it's a lot easier to do them. For instance, one of the most common finger tricks is a flick for the U layer, which is what the top layer is. So you just flick it and it turns. So you can turn it a ton faster than having to do it with your full hand. For instance, if I were to do 4 of these, it's that fast, it could be even faster. However, if I were to do it like this, it's a ton slower. And there are also some other ones like U2, where when you have to do two moves, you do a double flick, so you use this one followed by this one immediately, which makes it a ton faster. And there's pushes and stuff like that. But yeah, that's barely scraping the bottom of the barrel with how many finger tricks there are, but yeah, that's just one of the optimizations. And then another thing that cubers can do to their cubes is there are tons of different kinds. For instance, this is a stickered cube, so as you can see there are stickers on it, so the insides are black. Then there are also cubes like this, which are stickerless, because as you can see, it's all one surface because they dyed the plastic this color. So that removes the problem of the stickers peeling, and to some cubers that's appealing. no pun intended. And yeah, I mean, that's just barely scraping the bottom of the barrel of the speedcubing world, but that's just some of the basics. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!